Hello, welcome, it's great to see you. Today I am working on a Valentine's Day project and I've decided to make a little backpack. So this is for a swap that I'm doing and the backpack is actually a tutorial by 𝓷𝓵𝓬𝓬, so I'll have that linked down below for you. But I thought I'd share the process for this one with you. So I am using the 𝓤𝓸𝓬𝓼 Love Story by Photoplay, or by Becky Moore, produced by Photoplay. And this is from Cheryl Simone Crafts. I will link them down below and I will link this collection in particular down below as well. Please excuse my phone dinging in the background. So I have already followed her tutorial steps to cut out all of the pieces I need. The next step is for me to stitch these. So I'm actually going to put some red metallic thread in my sewing machine, stitch these two pieces, both handles. I'm not sure if I'll do that one. And I can't remember which side of this I need to stitch. I think it's the bigger one. Yeah, so I'll stitch that one as well and then I'll come back to you. I will assemble it and decorate it on fast forward, so I will meet you in the voiceover. I have stitched all of these panels and now I'm just going to round the edges on the flap closure part. Then trim the threads from all of these, ready to assemble the backpack. Trimming the threads is far too time consuming. One of the things I like the least about stitching. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut V shapes on these cut lines at the bottom so that the shapes will fit together nicer. I'm just sort of cutting slanted pieces at the edge of each one, as you can see here. Then using double-sided tape to put my backpack together. So I haven't done this sort of as a tutorial because 𝓷𝓵𝓬𝓬 has the tutorial on her channel. So we'll have that link down below for you. This is obviously her design. And I'm just recreating a Valentine's one. Popping that together with the tape. And then we move on to assembling the bottom part. I do this in two halves, so I add together the two longer pieces and then the two shorter ones. I believe that's how I do it. Maybe I do it the other way around actually. I'm incorrect. Yeah, I do the two shorter pieces first because I actually use some tweezers to squeeze them together so that they don't come apart on me. There you go, two shorter sides first, using my handy tweezers, and then the longer pieces. And you can see at the top here how it folds to close to create the backpack shape. Adding on my closure, my flap. And then I decide for this to hold it closed, instead of using my usual Velcro dot, I want to use, I've got no idea what this closure is called, but where you have elastic on the top and then it sort of loops around a button or brad or whatever at the bottom. So I decide on using these little pearly pieces and I stick those onto brads using hot glue so that I'll have a bit more space behind them for the elastic to go when I loop it around. I've chosen this pink elastic. I got this in a set from Amazon. I can try and find the link if anyone is interested. And then I'm just sort of threading this through in between the two brad pieces at the back, the pieces that would split apart. Piercing a hole in the centre of the top bit here, grabbing my cut and scoreboard because I want it to be central. I can measure it out better this way. The way I end up doing this is actually quite an odd way to do it. I would recommend doing this slightly different. So I put both of the brad pieces in and loop the elastic around, so that is how my closure will look. I should have tied the knot at this stage. Instead, I take the top brad out and try and tie the knot without it being around the bottom piece. I wouldn't recommend that. I would suggest that you tie it exactly at this point so that it's got the right amount of tension. Mine ended up being slightly too tight, but it worked out okay. It still opens and closes fine. But I would definitely recommend doing this the easier way, the simpler, quicker way.
So I thread these through, tie the knot, and then I use some hot glue to just hold that in place before adding my brad back onto the bag. Then, as you can see, this holds it together nicely, and I think it looks really pretty. So I'm glad that I went for this closure, and I think I'll do that again in the future. I really like how it looks and how it works. Then on to adding the straps on the back. So I'm making sure they're both level by adding them both at the same time. And then I decide that I really don't like the stitching being exposed. So I go ahead and grab some more of the pink paper, the darker one with the arrows. You'll see it in just a second. There it is. And I cut some more strips, and I'm just going to back the straps so that it will be this colour on the back and not the exposed stitching. Unfortunately, my cutting board cuts really jagged now. It's not the blade, I've changed the blade, it's the blue piece in the 𝓬𝓬𝓪 board that acts as a ruler or a stopper if you sort of flip it over. I really need to get a new one. I don't know if anybody knows if you can order just a replacement of that part, or whether I'll have to get a whole new 𝓬𝓬𝓪 board, but either way I need to do something because it does not cut my paper nicely anymore at all. And I use it all the time, so it might be worth replacing it if I really need to. Adding these on with some double-sided tape. I always just tuck the excess double-sided tape over back on itself. So a little tip if your tape is too wide or too long. And then I'm adding some hot glue because I have misjudged the length of my tape. So adding that on, curling these slightly with my score tool, and then just sticking down the bottom pieces to create that iconic strap shape. Then I think about using some more of these brad pearly, well, these ones aren't brads either, they're just the pearly embellishments. I think they look really cute at the bottom of the straps there, so I add those ones on. Adding my little handle, again I'm backing that with more paper to cover the stitching, and actually it will help hold the stitching in place, which is an added bonus. Again, cleaning up the edges of my paper, using my score tool to bend the shape, and then just some hot glue to secure it at each end. Now I think about adding a pocket or some embellishments on the front, but I really like the way it looks as is. So instead I decided to add a little dangle. I have got this word here, it spells out Maddie. So Maddie was my swap partner before it was changed. So I made that little charm a while back, I think. And then I've kept it on my desk ready to go. So I'm grabbing some other little gold pieces. I've got a lobster claw clasp, some split rings or jump rings. I think I've got a giant jump ring as well, and a little bit of chain. So on the little bit of chain, I'm adding a bunch of wire wrapped beads. I keep all of my gold wire wrapped beads in this pink pouch, and then I have a blue one for silver wire wrapped beads, just so that I've got a bunch of them ready to go when I'm making projects. Adding some charms and some tassels and that sort of thing from this box. Anything pink and red that I think matches, I'm grabbing out so that I can have a selection on my desk. Adding those onto the length of chain. I add a little heart eyelet onto the bag, and then later on I sort of change how the charm is attached, but the eyelet is still useful. So I add this little red heart eyelet, which I love the shape of these, and I just pop that on the side. I really dislike that this hangs in that little crevice part of the backpack. So on the right hand side, as you just saw, I mean I'll show it to you again in a second, when I hang this on that jump ring as is, it sort of hides in the little side bit of the backpack. So I do change that. To change that, I punch a hole in the cardstock and I have the jump ring go through the eyelet and through the cardstock so that it holds it facing forwards rather than sideways. You will see it in a second, and you will, it's better to show you than to explain it to you. Sorry, I couldn't think of that. So yeah, there you go. As you can see, it gets stuck around the side. So problem solving, I mess with the large jump ring so that it will hold it forwards, and you'll be able to see it better if you display the backpack. Here we go, making that slightly smaller so it stays nicer. And then just adding my dangly charms onto the front there. Adding a few extras because why not? And this is our backpack finished. I really hope you have enjoyed watching me create this little 3D bag. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you have enjoyed it. And I will be back to craft again with you very soon. I will also link all of the Secret Cupid videos down below, so you can check those out and see what people got and what people sent. And I will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.